Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. Really excited today, like I am every day when I'm on here with you guys. We have Colleen Biggs with us today. And Colleen is an inspirational speaker, business growth coach, and founder of Lead Up for Women. And welcome, Colleen. I'm really excited that you're here with us today.
Thanks, Cheryl. I love your audience. I have a passion for people that are in early stages of budding businesses. So I'm really honored to be here to speak to your listeners and to learn from you as well.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, great. So I come from the world of corporate America, like many of the women or men that may be listening on your podcast. I had a change of heart and decided to drop out of corporate after being in a box, that I couldn't break through and out of, as also being on the rat wheel. I just got tired of it and realized that I was meant for more. I started Lead Up for Women in 2019 to become an entrepreneur after coaching entrepreneurs for 18 years. And so I shortly after started this community, it built very quickly. I needed to leave and focus solely on Lead Up for Women. I was traveling around the nation to 10 different cities in 10 different states, hosting luncheons and bringing in panel members. So left corporate America was the best decision I ever made. I told my husband that I can't believe he told me to stay there for so long because entrepreneurship is so amazing. I call it a millionaire playground. And so I'm just super happy to be an entrepreneur where I can meet other people, where I can build my own business. I can choose how much money I make, when I make it, who I want to be around, who I want to play with, who I want to do business with. And so I built Lead Up for Women, brought my coaching business of being a peak performance coach to entrepreneurship. So I work with only females in entrepreneurship, in building and scaling their businesses in a one-on-one format or a group format. And I also host a podcast that I do weekly called Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I've done that for 3 years, started as a radio show. And then I also run a mastermind called Infinite Impact. And in this mastermind, we travel around the nation, around the world to different locations every quarter, hold ourselves accountable for, every 90 days on tasks that we say we're going to really elevate in our lives for the 7 F's. I don't know if you've heard of the 7 F's, but faith, family, friends, fun, fitness, field, and finances. So those are the areas that we hold each other accountable in and bring in high-level speakers. So I'm really happy with the way that I've designed my life. So I live my life by design, teach others how to live their life by design rather than by default.
Oh, that's awesome. I talk a lot about designing, each individual part of your life, your mindset, your, making sure that you design what you want to accomplish in your life, work it into that plan, and not just let things happen. Take the lead there, which is Lead Up for Women. I like that.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That just sounds like, a lot of people, yes, a lot of the listeners are corporate, maybe not corporate, but have some kind of job that they're stuck in and they don't want to be there. And it sounds like, you're realizing your dreams and you're doing what you want to do and you have that freedom. How did you make that passion a reality for yourself?
Well, there's a couple pieces in there that we all have to come to reality with. One is you can never wait until you're ready. Because if we waited until we were ready, we would never do anything. I'm a mother. We have 7 kids. And let me tell you that if my husband and I waited until we were ready, we would never have had kids because you're never ready to be a mom. You just have to jump in and figure it out. And here's the most awesome part about that. Everything is figure outable. Everything we do, everything in our lives, we always land on our 2 feet. So when someone is scared and that fear, that false evidence appearing real that they make up in their head about all the things that could go wrong and all the reasons why they can't leave that job, they're right? They've created it That's their reality. It's what they believe, and that's why they can't leave. So the start before you're ready is an important piece. And I always say, write down everything that could possibly go wrong, even bankruptcy and, losing all your savings, write it all down. And if death isn't on that list, then you go for it, right? You go for it because you'll figure it out. The other thing is you have to understand that you're your own safety net. So I took a leap, and that's one of the reasons why I called my programs that I work with my clients, they're called LEAP. And that's because we need to take so many leaps in our life and just go for it. And, that's how we live life, right? Life is not to be lived safe and, with no risk, because when you're safe and you have no risk, then you have a job and you have a paycheck, and then you just need to be happy with the safe and the no risk, which is okay. There's a lot of people that like to live their life by that type of design, and they are happy there. And I bless them for being happy there. I wasn't. I like to live my life by my design, by my choices, by my freedom of time, and by how much money I can make, and when I can go on vacation, when I don't go on vacation, based on what I choose. And so taking that leap of faith is really important, and you learn a lot about yourself. It's where growth happens, is in that area where you're leaping.
Yeah. And you learn that you're stronger than you think you are.
Way stronger than you think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, okay. So the design part is kind of the first step, writing it down and just taking the leap.
Yeah. The design part, I always like to ask everyone, where do you want to be with your finances? Where are you today and where do you want to be? And you have to really have a goal. It's like putting a boat in a harbor and just putting it in drive and letting it go. It will 10 times out of 10 not reach its destination, right? But if you program it and it knows exact coordinates of where it's going, it will make it. Now, there's going to be tough seas along the way. It might get knocked off course a little bit, but it will always get back on course. So sometimes it'll be smooth sailing and going faster, and sometimes the seas are going to be rough. But that's what we're built for. That's how God built us. He built each one of us with this greatness about us and this uniqueness about us. Why, Cheryl and I, we have separate fingerprints, right? We each identify differently by our fingerprints. So if you're so unique, why are you trying to fit in, right? Why are you trying to be like everyone else or do things like everyone else? So I rely heavily on my tuition. I rely heavily on my experience and my skill sets. And I have no problems reaching out to others that have done it before me to just pick their brains and find out how they did it, so I can move along a little quicker and really accelerate that growth.
Awesome. I love that. And I love the analogy with the boat. I think that's actually pretty on point.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we're first getting started in business, I think a lot of people say, well, how am I going to reach the people that I want to work with? How am I going to get clients in before I can start really building up the business side of it, websites and, marketing and all that piece? Like, you have to become like an expert in everything. But the first thing that you have to do is start to reach people and build relationships and get clients. How would you say would be a way for people to get seen, get heard, get visible?
The first thing is for us to realize that we are our own worst enemy, right? We get in our way a lot. So you already, if you're thinking about coaching and there's a specific subject that you want to coach on, you probably already have history there. You have experience there. I have a really good friend of mine who is part of Lead Up for Women, and her name is Wendy. And Wendy Sterile, she is a divorce coach. Do you think she was a divorce coach when she was happily married? Or do you think she became a divorce coach when she got divorced? She got divorced, and when she went through that process, realized how much support she needed and didn't have. So she took her certification of becoming a leadership coach, and she infused that with her experience that she went through. And now, because it's in her rearview mirror, she's able to coach women through really rough times that they're going through in their lives, when before she didn't even know that was a needed coach, right, in that area. It's so needed. I always said to her, I wish you were there, when I got divorced. So first thing is, you need to believe that what you're doing and your skill sets and your experience are unique to you. So I hear a lot, and maybe you do, Cheryl, too. Well, there's too many coaches out there. I don't want to be another coach. Well, I would like to ask you how many fast food joints there are out there and why more keep getting built, right? So
I use the pizza.
Yeah. Same. Canes, all the new ones that come up that everyone loves all of a sudden, right? Chick-fil-A hasn't been around forever. And there were plenty of other places serving chicken, like Kentucky Fried Chicken, before Chick-fil-A came about, right? And just about wiped KFC off the map. So again, you're unique to you, and you are your own secret sauce. So when I say that, I mean the only person that can leave a great impression is you. So picture it like this. You're at an event, and you're sitting out in the audience, and you're watching a chorus sing, and everyone's in these beautiful white robes except for one person, which is you, and you're in a red robe. So who do you think they're all looking? Whose eyes are on that person in the red robe? Every single person, because they want to know, why is that person wearing a red robe? Why are they different? They're intrigued by that person. So how you are seen, heard, and visible is twofold. One, be yourself everywhere, every time, anywhere you show up. That's number one. Be exactly who you were meant to be. Be strong and confident in who you are. And don't try to be like someone else, speak like someone else, do something like someone else. You show up bold and brash, or if you've got a filthy mouth, or if you praise God, or if you love to wear big earrings, or your hair messy, or, I have a girlfriend that's a client of mine who's 6 foot tall and has short blonde hair. And that is her brand. Like, the short blonde hair is her brand. People notice her everywhere. She makes a statement when she walks in a room because she's so confident, and she's huge. Like, she's a tall female compared to me. I'm 5 foot tall, right? So to me, she's a very tall female. So embrace everything God gave you, because he gave you it along the way on purpose for you to be here to impact the other lives the way you need to. So that's number one. The second thing is show up. You cannot build a business from behind your keyboard unless you're in software, digital software, selling products online. That's the only way. But I'm assuming, since we're talking to business owners that are coaches, that are launching leadership and coaching businesses, you are your brand. You are your product. So you need to build a tribe of people around you, for one, that fuel you. It could be 5 good people that support you, that open doors for you, that introduce you to people. That's your net worth, right? I say your network is your net worth. So build that tribe of people. Next is show up everywhere. If you're invited to a networking event, go and be present at it. Nothing drives me crazier than when I see people attend networking events I'm at, and I watch their eyes move across the screen because they're not even looking or participating. They're returning emails. If you want to go return emails and waste your time, then go do that somewhere else. But attend a networking event, because you wouldn't do that in a networking event. You just wouldn't sit on your phone and sit down and ignore everybody in the room. You might as well leave, right? So attend a networking event online, attend a networking in person if you have that opportunity in your area. Get into communities like Lead Up for Women or Polka Dot. And there's, male communities out there. There's E-Women, there's Big, there's Win. Like, there's Fem City, there's the Dames. I could name 1,000 networks that you can be part of that are about collaboration, meeting new people, them opening doors to other communities. So that is like probably the biggest pieces. Is you have to get yourself out there. So I know that doing videos on Facebook isn't fun, but you don't have to do them every day. Maybe find a friend that you could interview and you guys just get online together and talk. Or, I'm a one and done. That's me. Colleen's a one and done. And I always tell people when I record, this is it. I'm not doing a retake. So if I mess up, if I say something wrong, I just reel it back and say it again. And people know that. They know I'm raw that way, and they know I'm going to say what I feel. And on my bad days, I go live. On my bad days, I show up. even though I don't want to, because that's when people really relate to you, not the perfect, sculpted, scripted, everything perfect person. They want to see the raw and real behind the scenes. That's why reality TV is so popular today, because they just want you. And when you realize they just want you and what you offer, your life becomes so much easier, so much easier.
Yeah, I love that. So that also helps to build up confidence once you start just putting yourself up there and people are out there and then people respond to you. That can help to build your confidence. It's kind of just taking that leap, like you said. But for those that aren't very confident, so I heard you say, grab a friend, get on there and just do an interview online. What else do you think could help them to build confidence to do things like that, video and either lives or?
I would say hands down, there's only one word that builds confidence. You could sit and do, excuse me, you could sit and do mantras every morning in the mirror, but it's not going to build your confidence until you're in action. Action is the only thing that builds confidence. So whatever it is, you have to just do it. If it's texting a friend to ask her to introduce you to someone, if it's going on Facebook Messenger or LinkedIn, I've been on LinkedIn when I've had an event and one by one invited people through Messenger and had conversations with them to invite them to an event. You can't assume that just because you send a newsletter out that all of a sudden all these people want to attend what you're doing, right? So build relationships. That is the main key in having a successful business, is who you know. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So build partnerships, build relationships, just take the first step. So maybe it's, building an email list. How do you do that? Well, there's numerous ways, but one of the basic ways is just saving every contact of who you email that's already in your email, the number one place. Go through every person you've ever emailed and click on it and save them as a contact. And you probably have a minimum of 50 to 200 people. I remember just in corporate America, when I exported my list of people I had emailed all those years, I walked out of there with a list of about 4,000 people that I was connected with. And that was like, boom, that was the start of my company. Those were my people. They're the ones I knew. They're the ones I emailed, and over time you add more names and some people will drop off and unsubscribe that aren't interested in what you're doing, but you have to stay visible. So ask people when you're on their podcast, or if someone has a podcast, say, can I be a guest on your podcast? For a long time, Cheryl, I never asked people that came on my show that had podcasts, hey, could I be a guest on your podcast? Then I started asking and they're like, oh my gosh, that would be awesome. Yes, please. So I started just doing, being on someone's podcast that was on my podcast, because here I was promoting all these people constantly, but never asking them to promote me. Right? So I was doing it the hard way. So just ask. Women don't ask enough. You never know what you're going to get unless you ask. So my suggestion is ask someone to promote you, ask someone to endorse you, ask someone to share a post that you put out there. You just have to get started and you have to know who you are and what you do. And when you do know that, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Don't go after all the shiny objects out there where people are like, oh, now you got to go create a course over here. Now you got to go do this. Now you got to do that. Now you go do this. I see so many women stall in startup because they're trying to get their website correct and they got to get all this stuff. I've started 2 6-figure businesses in less than 6 months. 2 of them that hit 6 figures in less than 3 months. And no websites. There was no way for anyone to sign up for anything, no way for them to check it out. It was me introducing it to them and then sending them an invoice from any of the ways that you invoice or collect money. It's you that they want. It's what you have to offer that they want. They don't need to go read about it on a website. So that's the fastest way to cash, is just to get out there and find a client. Find who needs what you have.
Yeah, awesome. Love it. Any other advice that you have for entrepreneurs? Yeah,
I would say the last piece is twofold. If you're not solving a problem for something that exists today in the world, you don't have a business at all. So your solution, how you're coaching, what problem someone has that you're solving is number one in understanding the value that you bring to that person, right? Because someone who's a divorce coach has zero value to someone that's happily married until they're getting a divorce. Then they have huge value. Does that make sense? You have zero, but that person has zero value to an 8-year-old, or, someone who is lost her husband and is in her last years of her life, at 78 years old or whatever. And I think the last piece is this, and Cheryl, I know will stand behind me on this because you work with coaches, you certify coaches, which is if learning is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. If you are not going to continue learning and be a sponge and get yourself out there and continuously learn and never say, I know, then you'll do great. If you already know it all and you're not looking for anyone to help you and you don't think having a coach is the way to go, I wouldn't even hire a coach if they didn't have a coach, not in a million years. So coaches I hire, they better have a coach and their coach better have a coach. And that's one of the questions I ask before I ever hire them. So I would never expect any of my clients to hire me if I didn't have someone that was guiding me and then someone that was guiding them, because that's how we all continue to elevate and learn and continue evolving.
Yeah. And that's interesting. I just had this conversation with a client earlier. And definitely, having your own coach, sometimes you have more than one coach, depending on what you need. Right. Yeah. And then, that coach has their own coach, and sometimes you outgrow a coach. That's kind of the conversation we had. And that's great. Like if somebody outgrows me, they go to my coach. Right. Yeah. And when I outgrow my coach, I go to their coach. Like that's what it is, right? You're elevating, you're learning new techniques, and it's great that you can create community and that you can have, it's hard being an entrepreneur by yourself sometimes, but these are different ways to create community and just get to know people and elevate yourself as well in that, in having your own coach behind you and to support you and to cheer you on and to, and to check you when you need to be checked.
Yeah. They hold you accountable, right? So you don't even have to be in a situation where you have a coach to have an accountability partner. I have an accountability partner that I've had for almost 2 years. We meet every week on the phone for 30 minutes. It's kind of like what I started back in corporate America with mentors and sponsors. You can do the same. You can have a mentor, an accountability coach here as an entrepreneur. Just pick someone who is a driven entrepreneur like you and say, hey, we're not going to pay each other. We're just going to be accountability to each other and hold each other accountable for goals and things that we set and be there to support each other. We, give business to each other. And sometimes that's all it takes to get started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we're coming to the end of the show. You have a free gift for my audience?
I do. I could give them all a free download to a magazine or something on my website, but most of the time people don't read those. So what I really feel like the best thing I could do for your audience, since they're new, or in the first few years of business, is get them connected. So get them seen, heard, and visible. And we have monthly networking events that we do here at Lead Up for Women. So I want to give them a free ticket to that because they're $20. So there's a code that Cheryl has called, it's Guest LNL. So you will have the opportunity to come to the next one, which is December 2nd. If you can't make that one, just sign up for the January one. You can't make it, sign up for the February one. But sign up for one and come and meet some new people. I'm telling you right now, if you keep swimming in the same pool of the same people and you don't get out there and meet new people, you're not going to get new clients. At our events, the women get a chance for an hour to network with each other. On top of, sharing all their information for the first half hour. And we do fun spinning wheels and they get to win prizes that some of the women there have donated. So you get to win free prizes and hang out, bring your lunch. It's on Zoom, so you can do it from the comfort of your own home. You don't even have to wear pants. You can wear yoga pants and no shoes, right? But this is a chance for you to go into 3 different rooms and meet some dynamic women. Get some new connections and hopefully walk away with a friend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Colleen. I really enjoyed our talk today. And thank you guys for listening in. And I will have the links to contact Colleen and to participate in that Lunch and Learn networking event in the show notes, so you can pick it up there. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you so much.